Hello. Hi, Madel. Yes, I am feeling much better. Hello, hello, and welcome to today's live stream with That's My Opinion. I'm Bacon Bears, and today is the 24th of January. Yes, I am feeling much better. Also, if my sound is a little different, my soundboard completely died, so I have to get a different setup here. So bear with me until I can get the soundboard that I want, because I want to be making some upgrades. However, yes, I started with a little bit of stomach flu on what day is today? Friday? On Wednesday. I look fresh. I don't feel fresh, I'll tell you that. But I started with stomach flu. So what happened was my daughter had gotten it Wednesday of last week. Okay, she started puking that night. And then Thursday, she was home from school. She slept all day. And then Friday, she was like, okay. And then by Saturday, she was totally fine. Okay, no problem. Then fast forward to Monday night, my son got it. And then Tuesday, he was sick all day. And then Wednesday, he's fine. Okay, great. Wednesday, I start to feel like hot garbage. And I went down so quickly. And then I got it Wednesday night into Thursday, basically slept all day yesterday. This morning, I woke up with a migraine that I was able to kick. And that was insane. And then, yeah, and today I'm not fine. I'm definitely not 100% better. Like, I'm not gonna work out. I'm gonna focus on just hydrating and eating, the things that I need to eat and like taking care of myself. But the fact that I can sit up straight and eat is fantastic. So that's where we've been. That's why I had to reschedule yesterday's stream to today. I have everything set up and like ready to go. Is it contagious? I assume so. I assume it's just a stomach bug, right? That everybody got. I have two kids. Well, you have kids, right? So you know that when they get sick with something, it's like it's only a matter of time before absolutely everybody gets it. So there's that. Anyways, so as far as today, Wednesday, I'd put out the video for Madeline Soto, and that has been a true crime case that I've been following since it happened. It is something that just absolutely outrages me. I get so upset by it. And, I have to tell you that as a mother, there are certain cases that I try to be unbiased, right? Like you try to look at it from all points. Every time that I look at this case, I just get like more upset and more upset and more upset. I really do. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the interview that Jennifer Soto has with the police and what she says to them. Now, this is after she finds out that her boyfriend has been violating her daughter. Her 37-year-old boyfriend has been violating her 13-year-old daughter. And this is right before they actually end up finding her body, but they pretty much knew or thought that she was deceased. So that's where we're at on that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. And
that's what I'm
we'll
saying.
Skip through some
Sunday's
of
the only day
points
named
of it.
after a food.
We are not doing this all season.
But
Just saying.
hold on, why is my loop back not working here? I should have my loop back. Is it because it's not open? But that's what we're going to be looking at today.
You can't possibly believe that the entire...
Oh, it's not. Interesting. Let me see. Desktop audio, monitor and output. And this should go... Oh, I have to do this every time? What a bummer. I shouldn't have to do this every time. Audio. No. Now wait. Apply. This should be working. Why is this not working? Hold on. Hi, Bunny. Hello. Thank you so much.
entire sport of
I
football
am feeling
was created...
much better. I appreciate that. Honestly, I am just so happy to be upright. I can't even tell you. Hold on a second. I don't know why my focus right. USB audio. You know what pisses me off the most is I literally just had all of this working. That's not right. This. Hold on.
Just to make people...
Whoa. Sorry about your ears. Okay. So let me turn this down a little bit and then we'll get into these interviews. Also, let me get through this.
Julius Peppers, Coy Bacon, CJ Ham. These aren't players.
Okay.
They're pizza toppings.
They're players.
We have to
And
watch
pizza
ads.
toppings.
Sorry.
Paul. Football players are not named after pizza toppings just to sell you.
Pizza! Free medium 2-topping pizza from Domino's.
Oh my God. Oh, you guys. I am a mess. Please bear with me. I had, like I said, my soundboard died and I had to change a whole bunch of different things. And now I don't know what's alive and what isn't alive. I'm so sorry. Oh, anyways. All right. Let's get into this.
With all kinds of people stuff.
All right. So here she comes in and she is going to be sitting for the interview with two detectives. And this is when she, like I said, she has seen the pictures. She knows what Stephen Stearns has done to her daughter. And the police, I don't know if the police are just like pretty sure that she's deceased or they know because they have all of the security footage. They just haven't found her body yet. I'm not sure which one is which, but we'll get into it. All right. I know they make her wait in here for a long time. Oh, here she comes. Okay.
Detective Smallwood from Casino.
Can you guys hear this okay?
The goal, obviously, Kissimmee Police Department's doing most of this investigation. We're at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Our people...
Yeah, get ready to get mad, that's for sure.
So, it's kind of a joint effort. So Detective Smallwood's kind of ready to go read through the timeline of everything else. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to go from there. All right.
You want me to go through the whole timeline?
Yeah,
Is that what
we'll start with Sunday. Take me through Sunday.
Okay. Sunday. Here's that tissue.
Yes, ma'am. Mention the reps. So actual tissues?
No, not work.
I can give you this whole one.
So Sunday.
El Jagad, hi.
Birthday party. She spent the whole day at my mom's house. We celebrated with the whole family. I was at work. I just started a new job last week or the week before.
Okay. Where's that at?
Walt Disney World at Coronado Springs, front desk concierge.
Okay.
I was finishing up my last day of, no, it wasn't even my last day of training. I was still in the middle of training. Sunday, middle of training, I couldn't miss to go to her birthday party. So I went to work.
File your taxes 100%
on.
free in the app if you didn't use us last year. Just file with TurboTax Do-It-Yourself by
Sorry,
February
guys.
18th.
I was with my family all day. She had the best day. She was so happy when I got home and I saw her. At my house around 8:30 that night. I wasn't home. She got dropped off alone. About 10 to 15 minutes later, Stephen showed up.
It's funny because here, whoa, where's my, see here, I gotta, excuse me while I get these things back in order. Where's my chat now? Why can't I see my chat? Right here? Where is it? Yeah, does that sound like crocodile tears to anybody else? Absolutely. It didn't even, she cried for 2 minutes. She walked in and she was like, oh, thanks. And then now but just wait, it gets worse. Don't worry.
At your house in Kissimmee.
At my house in Kissimmee, he called me. Or he texted me, I don't remember. But he let me know he was there and that she was getting ready for bed. She was doing her routine. So she took her nighttime meds and she got in the shower to get ready for bed.
What meds? What does she take?
She takes hydroxyzine.
Okay. What is it for?
It's for anxiety and for sleep.
Okay.
Now, could she take that by herself, or would he have given that to her?
I think she took it by herself. She got home and she had already taken it.
How do you know that?
That's what he told me.
That's what he told you. Okay.
He was
Hi,
there when you got
B-boy.
home? You got home, they were already at the apartment.
I don't like her taking her meds without somebody visually watching her, because I don't want her to accidentally grab the wrong pill. She's comfortable enough to grab the pill bottle, but I'm like, no, I need to watch you take them.
Has there ever been an issue with that in the past?
Good
If
morning.
you took too many or took the wrong thing? Or
No.
just like a thought in your mind?
No, just a thought in my mind, just me being hypervigilant.
Okay, I want you guys
I want to physically.
Now, mind you, I have watched this already because I decided what I was going to put into my video and what I was going to keep out. Now, I want to let you know, this is something that I have taken note of. I'm actually going to take notes while we watch this. So the first thing that she says is that she is hyper vigilant. I'm going to write that down. Word hyper vigilant about her daughter taking her meds. How old is a person? Okay. So, just to give you guys a little backstory on this, this is Jennifer Soto. Jennifer Soto has a daughter who is 13 years old. Rachel, I promise this is going to make you so upset. So Jennifer has a boyfriend named Stephen Stearns. Stephen Stearns is 37 years old. And Madeline is reported missing on Monday morning. By Wednesday, Stephen Stearns is is arrested on unrelated charges. And then by Friday, they find Madeline's body. So with that being, welcome to Curious Minds. B-Boy, thank you for becoming a member. We appreciate you. So Madeline Soto is found on Friday. And what they find out is that, or what the public finds out is that Stephen Stearns is been charged on 60 counts of salacious materials when it comes to children, including Madeline Soto. And they could find Google Drives and his computer and his phone. And he, this goes back to when Madeline Soto was 11. What we end up finding out through interviews and, just Jennifer talking is that Jennifer needed a good night of sleep sometimes. So she would send Madeline to go sleep in the bed with her 37-year-old boyfriend, Stephen Stearns. 13 that's us. So here's the thing. So she's hyper vigilant. What we'll say about hyper vigilant, about Madeline taking her meds. So that's the first thing that she points out. We're 5 minutes into this interview, and she's just going to tell you, I'm hyper vigilant about what my daughter does. I'm hyper vigilant about when she takes her meds. And she does understand, that I don't even know what hydroxyzine is, but what she says is that, she's gotten it mixed up or whatever. And that's, that's perfectly understandable. She's a 13-year-old girl. I don't have a 13-year-old. I don't have a 13-year-old on meds, but I do know that I do have two children, 5 and 8. And no matter how old they get, I'm never going to allow my children to have access to pills alone like that. I have to be honest with you. I'm medicated. Okay. I have a pill that I'm supposed to take every single morning. I am 39 years old. Do I take my pills every single morning? No. You know why? Because I forget. I need one of those little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pill boxes. But I'm 39 and I have a problem remembering these things. So to have somebody who is 13, you should be hyper vigilant of these things. You should be on her when it comes to these pills. But it's just interesting to me that she already paints herself as a very hyper vigilant mother within the first 5 minutes of this interview. I wouldn't prescribe hydroxyzine to a 13-year-old. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's for. I am not a doctor. I don't know. Highly inappropriate for her to be in bed with an adult male, especially not her own parent. Don't worry, Rachel. It gets way worse.
Watch her take her meds and watch her grab 2, take them. I don't ever want there to be an accident of she took too many, or my biggest fear is that she would take Adderall by accident, her daytime meds.
Got it.
I got home around 10:30. I started getting ready for bed myself. I started eating and taking my meds because I have to take meds. When I went to take my meds, I realized, oh my God, I forgot to take my Saturday night's meds which is why I felt so weird and so abnormal and not myself Sunday while I was at work. Everyone at work noticed I was acting different and not being myself. Like, I couldn't smile in front of the guests. I felt this wave of depression that I haven't felt in years.
Okay, so I have to, and anybody who takes meds in the chat, if you're comfortable with discussing this, I would like to chime in. I am on a medication that does a lot of things. Okay, it helps with OCD, it helps with eating disorders, it helps with bipolar, it helps with anxiety, and it took me 6 weeks to get on it and like have it be inside of my system. And I miss a lot. I miss a lot because like I said, I am not to be trusted. Now, she says that she missed her pills, that she's been on a bunch she's been on her pills for a long time. She said in other interviews that she's been prescribed, and she said that she's missed one day, and then she's like, oh yeah, Sunday, I didn't feel good. I knew. It wasn't until when she thought that she missed them that she was like, oh, that's right, I knew I was off. I knew that I was different. Mine don't affect me like that. So I don't know if that's true or if other people have that, like, let me know if you guys, like, if you take medication in the chat, if you miss one day, if like you're off. There have been times where I felt like I was more emotional maybe, but then I'm like, oh, I'm emotional. Also, I have my period. Maybe I didn't take my pill. You know, sometimes it's like, Rachel and I have this conversation all the time. It's like, oh, did you take your meds? And then it's like, well, you know, it doesn't work that fast always. Not mine don't, at least. I don't know. Let's see. My 13-year-old takes hydroxyzine at bed. It's situational. She does need it at this present time. She is never allowed to get meds alone. They're locked in a safe. Yeah, you know what that's called? Responsible parenting. Thank you. It's an anxiety medication. It's also used for insomnia. I'm on it. It's strong and it knocks you out. Interesting. Okay. Also comes in different doses. Okay, let me revise that statement. I wouldn't make it my first written prescription for a pediatric patient. Right. I'm on meds for chronic depression, diabetes, thyroid, and other conditions. What you miss matters. Okay, so it is different for other people. I have to say the medication that I'm on, it doesn't, like, it. If I were to miss a day, that doesn't like matter to how. So I don't want to make too many judgments about this. I just find it interesting that she's like, oh, that's why Sunday, you know. So maybe it does matter depending on what she's on. Always use the daily thing. I need to use the daily thing for sure.
It was my bipolar symptoms coming up again that I've been medicating myself for all this time. I realized I forgot to take my meds, and I said, you guys, I need a good night's sleep. I need to take my meds. I sent them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom so that I could get a good night's sleep. Suggested that we all sleep together in the same bed together, but not the easiest person to sleep with. She rolls around, she punches, she kicks. We have a king size bed.
So then you know what you do? Instead of sending your 13-year-old to send her upstairs with your boyfriend 37, if she rolls around and she kicks, you go upstairs with your boyfriend and sleep with him in a bed while your daughter sleeps downstairs by herself. Or you send him upstairs and you guys sleep in the bed and put a pillow next to you so that she can't touch. If I miss a depression med one day or two, no big deal. I can miss my blood pressure medicine. Interesting. Okay. I am nuts or unconscious. Interesting. Okay. Every time I hear that, I want to gag. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I can't sleep, so I need to send my 13-year-old upstairs with my boyfriend so I can get a good night's sleep. Okay.
And she typically sleeps on one side, and she'll end up on my side.
Also, I want you guys to take a really good look when we're watching this. If you're not watching it, then I understand. But if you're watching this on YouTube right now, I want you to watch the body language of these police officers. This guy down in the corner, this guy right here, constantly shaking his foot. This other one, you can just, as the interview goes on, you can just see them be like, what is going on?
When we wake up.
Okay.
So I asked her, I'm like, no, please, I need a good night's sleep. If you guys can go upstairs and let me sleep. I had asked Stefan to take her to school in the morning.
We'll go to Sunday. So Sunday.
Now, this is also very interesting because when you go in, sorry if I'm, you know what? Not sorry if I'm stopping this too much. That's the point of the live stream. So the other thing is, this is literally like the only time that Stefan ever took her to school, ever took Madeline to school. She says in other interviews, oh, he's taking her for, he's taken her a couple of times to, I don't know how many times he's taken her to, this is the first time that he's taken her. So it's interesting to me that the first time he takes her, something happens. And I'll just give you guys my bias, okay? I absolutely think that Jennifer knows more than she does. I because of some of the things that Stefan Stearns has said in some of his jailhouse interviews or on his phone calls, I actually think she has a lot more to do with this whole thing than she's letting on. Now, for you guys to know, she was in an interview and she got a certain type of immunity for that interview. She did not get it starts with a D. I forgot what it's called. I should look it up. But she got, hold on, let me see if I can find it on here. It's let me see. Google. Whoa! I almost just spilled my coffee. Let's go to Google. It's D immunity. Police. What is it called? I don't, this is qualified immunity. That's not what it is. So anyway, she got a certain type, I'll look for it, but she got a certain type of immunity inside of one of these interviews that basically states anything that she could say the whole thing. She could say, I killed Maddie. I know Stefan killed Maddie. I know X, Y, and Z. And they can't use that interview against her unless they can find something to prove it. So they gave her that immunity. It's not full immunity, but they gave that to her in one of her interviews. And she still really says nothing, which, I mean, if I was guilty of something, I wouldn't either, but still. Let's see. Is this lady still alive? How do we find her? Yes, she is, in fact. And also, she has had no charges brought against her. Yes, Shawnee, I don't know how they sit calm in these rooms. I really wonder what these guys have to make women like this willing to pimp out their own child. Yes, absolutely. He said he did not start it. Like, what are you implying? So that to me implies that either obviously he thinks that Madeline started it, like she came on to him as some predators do. They have this thing in their mind like, oh, she started it. Or we have this example where she started it. Clearly she sold her daughter. Yeah, and was not terribly concerned to say that the child came on to. Yes, that is classic behavior. Absolutely.
You took your meds. What meds, if you don't mind me asking, what meds do you take? And like, how does it put you to sleep deep? Does it help you fall asleep, or does it help regulate you? What kind of happens when you take the meds?
So they do all of the above. They make me sleepy. They help me stay asleep, and they help me function. So I'm stable all day. They only work well if I've got a good night's sleep and if I've eaten with them the night before when I take them, or the night I take them. The medication is called Geodon. Generic brand is called Ziprazidone.
Geodon?
I took my meds. And
all right, let's look into see what is Geodon used for. Treats mental health conditions like schizophrenia and bipolar disorder by balancing the levels of dopamine and serotonin in your brain. These substances help regulate your mood, behaviors, and thoughts. And the brand name is Geodon. So she's on the, Ziprazidone, which is the generic. So that's what it's used for. Mr. Pike, how are you?
I told them to start getting ready for bed, to start heading upstairs and get ready because it was already almost 11 o'clock. It's past her bedtime. She needs to go to sleep.
The child was a product to her. Yeah, that's the thing. And I don't know if you guys have seen this interview yet. I've watched it quite a few times. She is very disconnected from Madeline in the way that she speaks, at least how I interpret it.
So I sent them upstairs.
I sent them upstairs.
I think he may have come down at one point to pee before bed, and then he went back upstairs. He uses my restroom because the roommates upstairs don't want to share a restroom with a male.
Okay.
Yeah, so they just use, he uses my restroom.
Critical Moss, thank you. Derivative use immunity. Now I'll just let you know what that is. Derivative use immunity. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Derivative use immunity is a legal agreement between a witness and the government that protects a witness from having their testimony used against them in a criminal case. It also prevents the government from using any evidence derived from the witness testimony. However, if they can prove it. Oh, thank you, Mr. Pike. You're the best. If they can prove it and they have hard evidence, they absolutely can use that evidence. So like if she were to say like, oh, I killed Maddie, they can't use that against her in a court of law. However, if they can prove it, they can just say she killed Maddie, but they can't use that admittance against her, if that makes any sense.
You're fine. Sunday night he came downstairs, maybe overnight to use the restroom.
Yeah, and then he went back upstairs and they went to sleep. Or, right, I think they went to sleep.
Okay.
I don't know. I went to sleep. I was awoke.
Now, mind you, this is Friday. Her daughter has been missing since Monday. Just so we're all aware of the timeline. She has reported the last time she saw her daughter alive, maybe, was Sunday night. This is Friday. The calmness in this interview is... I'm trying not to judge. I'm like trying so hard. And I know we talk about this a lot, that you can't, like, somebody can't judge like how somebody's being in an interview. But by Friday, I don't even know if I would be able to speak.
Woken up at some time.
Oh, yeah. No, Rachel, this is a great point. And she was so calm and could sleep just like nothing. You know what? I should have started with the original interview. She said in her original interview that Monday or Tuesday night that she did with it was Fox. She did it with Fox. And she said that her family was out looking for her daughter, but she was just going to stay at home to wait for her to appear. And then when they ask her, which we'll find out later, that they're like, what did you do after, she disappeared? And she was like, well, I just waited for her. So I went home and got something to eat and went to sleep. I can't sleep when my children are in my home. I can't imagine if they were outside of my home. No way anybody in the house would be getting any sleep until my kid was back. Thank you. Yes. I do not think I would be functional. I would be so exhausted. Absolutely. I would be out. I would be out and about. I would be screaming for my children.
For the longest time, I've been saying he woke me up at 8 o'clock in the morning because I assumed he was taking her to school and getting ready for school. But in reality, I don't know what time he woke me up. The sun was out a little bit. It was still a little dark. And I was very sleepy. When I got up, I was kind of drunk. But he came in to walk the dog, to put the leash on the dog and walk him.
Was the dog in?
Now, I'm also interested because Stefan's parents have said that they haven't liked Jennifer Soto because there was drug use between them, between Stefan and Jennifer Soto. So I'm wondering if there's a factor in there, right? If not only did she take her regular prescriptions, but also if there were maybe other prescriptions that were taken. Oh my God, look at the stress on this plant has heard so many secrets. But I wonder if maybe there's something that comes into play, which is why she was so sleepy or so drowsy. It's one thing to say she's legally guilty. It's another thing to say her behavior is revolting, such as, having your child. Yes. Yes. Her behavior all around, 1000% revolting. Guilty or not guilty. I do not care.
In the room with you?
Yes.
So did he wake you up on purpose, or was it just kind of like the causation of him opening the door and you realizing somebody was there?
Yeah, the causation of him putting the leash on the dog, because the way the dog reacted, he gets very nervous and will urinate if you put the leash on him too directly. You have to like be nice and talk to him. Yeah, he's a very...
Everybody in this house is
he's a nervous
stressed.
dog, yeah. So I got up to try to help him, and he said, no, go back to sleep. I'm fine, I got this. And I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. So I laid back down and went to sleep. I heard noise in the kitchen, but I'm not sure who it could have been. Getting ready, but it could have been Stefan, it could have been any of my roommates. I fell asleep again, and I didn't wake up, I think, until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Did you ever leave the bedroom in that time frame?
No.
So he came in,
Hi,
you were
Carl.
kind of woken up based on him interacting with the dog, but you stayed in bed, you didn't leave the bedroom. So if you woke up at like 9, so you never...
That morning.
Monday morning.
No.
So the last time you would have been Sunday evening?
Sunday.
Okay.
So this is what she's explaining is this is Monday morning when Stefan Stearns has taken Madeline to school. But what we're thinking is that Madeline was deceased before she ever left the house. Sleep isn't very important to this lady, more important than her daughter. I have to tell you, Madel, I have not slept in 8 years. So because my kids come first, and my son who's autistic has some very huge issues when it comes to sleep, and you just do what you need to do for your kids. And there's never been a point where I'm like, I need sleep, that I would put my son in a position of danger so that I could get that done. We've all experienced worried and panic, and you cannot sit still. You squirm and pace, even stoic people. Yeah, there's an extra energy. There's like a jitteriness that comes with it.
You're fine.
I want to see her.
Take a minute. Okay? While you take a minute, I was going to ask you earlier, has anybody reached out to you during the time that you've been investigating this to talk about that or anything else? Negative, positive, neutral?
My best friends have all been in contact with me, just to try to help me. There's setting up Facebook groups, flyers,
No negative.
You know what's interesting to me is, and I know people handle stress very differently, so you know what, just hear me out, but it's interesting to me that she's like, my friends, my family, Madeline's friends' family, all of these people are out doing different things. And Jennifer has done nothing. And then you look at somebody like Sharon Rocha, who is Lacey Peterson's mother. And Lacey Peterson goes missing. Sharon is making flyers. She's hiring a room at a hotel, and she's like, we're going to find my daughter. We're going to set up this thing. We're going to make ribbons. We're going to do blah, 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 blah. She's like, I'm going to find my daughter. And it's just interesting to me as a mother that you can just sit back and just allow other people to do this. I would be finding every picture that I could of my kid and giving all the detail. Like, I have no words. That sandpaper she's cleaning her face with. I like that they gave her the roughest paper towels to sand her fake tears up. Oh my God. She's sleeping. Yeah.
Interactions with the public or anything? Nobody's like reached out with tips or accusations or anything like that?
Not that I've seen. I've been avoiding social media because my family's telling me to not go on.
I've been avoiding social media. You couldn't. You couldn't. Rocha, right. That was grief. Carl. Sharon Rocha Rocha. I don't want to get her name wrong, but that was grief. That was a mother who was trying to find her daughter. And then this one, I'm staying off of social media. You have a 13-year-old missing. Social media would be the first place that I went. Sleepwalking her way through this interview. Oh my God. We're not even at the amazing part.
Looking at your phone to verify there's no stuff coming into socials, text, things like that.
That's fine.
And here's the other thing. I have friends, I have sisters, I have family members. If I couldn't bring myself to look at social media, let's say I couldn't do it, right? I can't handle it. I would give my phone to Rachel and be like, I need you to monitor. I would start to delegate. I can't look at social media right now. I can't look at what people are saying. I can't do these things. Can you please do this for me? If your friends are coming to your aid, why are you not giving them jobs that you cannot personally handle? I can't look at social media, so give it to somebody else. Yeah, I would ignore the most ubiquitous form of communication when searching for my actual... Right.
Do you have the phone?
Yeah.
What they'll do is they'll plug it in, they'll do a forensic download of it so they have the data. That way they can go through it and say, we did receive things, we didn't receive things, here's the communications in and out, things like that, so we can verify that for you.
That's fine.
Do you have a password on it?
030288.
030288.
Carl, this is a great point. Scott Peterson avoided. Well, social media wasn't as big at the time, but he avoided all media, which is a very interesting point that you make. Ooh.
Is that a birthday?
My birthday.
It's your birthday?
Yeah.
My birthday's tomorrow. Right.
Today's the first. I didn't even know. This is the worst birthday ever.
I just want to make sure you all heard that. She's crying. She's crying very hard right now. Did you guys hear why she's crying? Because this police officer just reminded her that tomorrow is her birthday. Did we hear what she said? This is the worst birthday ever. This is the worst birthday ever. That's the hardest that she's cried since she's been in this room. This is the worst birthday ever. Poor me. My birthday. Now I can't stop thinking about that being sandpaper.
That way they can get that going so we can get it back to you before we're out of here. We don't keep it from you.
Okay.
So you said about 9 o'clock on Monday you wake up?
Yeah. I wake up. I have a doctor's appointment. I leave sometime between 9:30 and 9:45. And I head over there. It's blood work appointment.
See, being a detective seems like such a roller coaster. I actually said to my husband, I was like, they are doing the Lord's work. I don't know how they're doing this. I don't. And he's like, well, that's why they have that job. Although you will see them get upset in this interview. So just wait. My mom and uncle looked with more energy for my runaway brother when he was 11 and revolted against being forced to move to Texas than she looked for her kid. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to control your anger when you hear that type of comment. It's amazing to me. My birthday. Who gives a shit about your birthday? course, nobody killed him, and we did want him back. Yes, that's that's part of the problem. I think I don't know how she feels about wanting her daughter back. I don't know her personally.
The appointment's for 10:15, but they take a while to see me.
Where was your appointment at?
LabCorp. And
also, too, mind you, this story has changed quite a few times. She had a doctor's appointment, which is why she couldn't take Maddie to school. Then he took her to school, and then she needed a good night of sleep, and it was a doctor's appointment. Now it's a blood work appointment, and it wasn't until 10:30. Maddie goes to school at, I think the bell rang at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Do you want me to tell you exactly which one?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
Birthday cake and candles. That's right.
It's. If you need to Google it, it's the LabCorp across the street from the Loop in Kissimmee.
Okay, by the Loop, got it.
Had my appointment. I finished there sometime between 11:15.
I know that's right.
I headed home. When I got home, Stefan was there. I had talked to him a little bit earlier while I was waiting for my blood work appointment, and he let me know, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I left my phone at home by accident. School, everything went great. She got up super early, got up really quick. She slept most of the way in the car. I asked her multiple times if she wanted McDonald's, but she said no. Because that was the plan, was that they were going to stop at McDonald's that morning and go get breakfast.
Okay.
He said that he had gone to the vape shop and they were closed and they didn't open. So he waited there for a while and left, and then said he was going to go back later. When I saw him at the house, everything was normal. We were chatting, we were talking, he was acting normal. He was sitting in my computer chair just messing around on his phone. While we were hanging out, he mentioned something along the lines of, "Oh man, I've been avoiding this phone update for a really long time. I should probably update it now." And I said, "Do it, don't avoid it, just get it over with." And he updates his phone and then tells me, "Oh my god, I don't know what button I just pressed, but I just factory reset my entire phone." And I said, "How the hell does that happen? That gives you options now when you reset your phone?" He goes, "Yeah, apparently I wasn't paying attention and I just pressed the button and it happened." And I said, "Oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks."
I did an upgrade and I accidentally not even reset my phone, factory reset my phone. Do you understand the lengths that you have to go to factory reset and erase everything on your phone? And there's no way that she didn't know it. Yeah, the narrator. Yeah, the mom angers me so much. You and everybody in the chat. You are not alone. Yes. And the whole phone thing, right? This is a lie that... you know what? I wouldn't have even deleted it. I would have smashed it if I was a criminal, right? I would have just smashed it and threw it away and then been like, I broke my phone. Sorry. Like, I accidentally factory reset my phone. I'm pretty sure they can still get info off a phone even with a factory reset. Oh, you would be correct. You would be absolutely correct. They can, and they do.
Later on, he tells me he's going to go back out, and I think this is around...
She absolutely does. They both do.
1 o'clock.
Still on Monday?
Yes, still Monday. 12:30 in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He tells me he's going to go back out. He's going to stop at a few gaming shops. And then he'll meet me at the house at 2:30 so we
This is a great point.
He left. I hung out in the house for a while. Was waiting for 2:30 to roll around. 2:30 rolls around, and I'm already calling Stefan, and he's not picking up his phone. 2:30 comes. I leave. About 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him going, I just got back home. I left my phone home again. I'm so sorry. How long ago did you leave? And I said, about 10 minutes ago. He goes, I'm so sorry, I missed it. I really wanted to go with you. And I'm just like, it's fine. I figured he wasn't going to make it because when I looked at the time when he left and said he was going to visit 3 shops, I didn't think he had enough time to visit them. He told me while he was gone that he got a flat tire somewhere on 182. The wheel just shredded and fell apart. So he was changing the tire, and it took him a really long time to do it. He said he hurt his thumb while changing the tire, like the frame or something slipped and something pinched his finger, and he ended up having to yank it out. And he said he hurt his finger.
Oh, I think both of them know.
I want to touch on something real quick. When you were calling him, he eventually told you that he left his phone there. Did you hear the phone at the house?
No. If it was anywhere, it would have been upstairs and I wouldn't have heard it. It would have been in the guest
Do
bedroom.
you typically go upstairs?
Who, me?
Yes.
Only if I'm doing laundry.
That was all. I was just curious if you had heard the phone when you were trying to call him.
Now, that's another thing to remember. So it's Jennifer, 2 female roommates, her daughter, and then Stefan comes in to stay. And I know that I believe Jennifer's dad is the one who rents out that whole like unit that they live in.
I did.
I did it. So he tells me all that. I get off the phone with him. I'm waiting. I wait for about an hour and 10 minutes. 4:04, the bell rings, and I'm waiting. I'm the first in line. And she doesn't come out.
You were in your car?
I was in my car, in the car line, yeah.
Okay.
At this point, it's been a few minutes. She should have been out by now, because she's usually one of the first kids out. She knows I'm in the front line. And I'm holding up the line behind me, because there's kids getting in the cars behind and they're all waiting. They can't get around me, right? So I start calling her, forgetting that I have her phone on me. I had found her phone earlier that morning. She had left it at home. And I brought it with me because she does this often. She does leave her phone.
Where was the phone at in the house?
Remember that. She does this often. She leaves her phone, and she's said this multiple times. She brings up the fact that Madeline has ADHD. She leaves her phone all the time at home. I'm going to write this down. Leaves phone all the time. This is an important, I just wrote leaves phone all the time. This is an important detail to remember. Convenient memory. Let's see. Little part of evidence. Yep.
It was on top of the dresser in her bedroom.
Downstairs? I've never been in your house.
Downstairs.
Okay.
So
it's convenient too that both Madeline and Stefan left their phones at home when he took her to school. That's an important note.
Just so you know, I have a 4-bedroom townhouse.
Okay.
The living room has a partition in it, a fake wall kind of thing.
That's a good point.
That's got her bedroom in it. That's got a bed, a dresser, and a desk on it. Does she sleep there? No. She'll hang out there. She'll use her computer and hang out there. That's her hangout spot. But she primarily sleeps with me every night in my bed. That's because I know the roommates wake up super early in the morning. They're going to be in the kitchen. They're going to wake her up if she's sleeping out in the living room. So I don't.
So your bedroom downstairs, her makeshift bedroom downstairs, guest bedroom upstairs?
Yes.
Got it.
So wait a second. So there's 2 roommates. There's a guest bedroom upstairs. Her bedroom is downstairs, and then Maddie's makeshift bedroom is downstairs. I don't know how long the roommates have been living there. Have the roommates never heard any of this going on?
Her phone was on her dresser. When I found it, I was like, oh my god, she's left her phone again. That's great. I brought it with me to the school because I was just gonna yell at her and then just hand it to her so she could have something to do on our way home. 4:10 rolls around and she's still not out, or 4:09, and then at this point I'm feeling the pressure from the cars behind me. I'm like, okay, they're all full, they're all waiting for me to leave and she's not here yet. So I take off and I'm thinking, maybe I missed her, maybe I forgot to tell her I was picking her up from school today, because I don't know if she knew that I wasn't working. I don't know if she knew if I was off.
That's a good point, Rachel. I don't know if they were complicit, but sometimes people, I mean, you're complicit if you just turn a blind eye. No, they were females.
So I asked, I don't know if I told her that I was going to get her. So I left thinking maybe she walked, that's pretty close to school. If I can't pick her up at school, that's where I tell her to.
Yes. So she was the first in the car line. Then she felt the pressure by the other parents. So she left, and she thought that maybe Madeline had walked to, I guess her mom has like an office or something down the street. So she had left and gone to the office that was down the street, and she left there, which why you wouldn't park and go walk into the school is a good point. You don't have her phone. You just go walk into the school and see if you could find her, or at least talk to the teachers. But no, she did leave. Yeah, maintaining your composure during this is why I do this on the internet, because there's no way I could sit with somebody and talk to them to the face. I'm not professional enough. Absolutely. Right. You get out and ask the staff. And that's the other thing. That's another great point. They're all walkied. All the people who work at schools now have walkie-talkies. So you wouldn't even need to go inside. You could just go up to somebody and be like, hey, is Madeline here? Can you just like walkie to see if anybody sees her? And then what they would do is they would probably walkie to the front office and they would be like, Madeline Soto, come to the front office. Or they would tell her, Jennifer Soto, to go to the front office because Madeline has not shown up all day. So she could have found out right then that Madeline was not there. That's a great point, Rachel. I seem to forget these things. I do not fully understand the sleeping arrangements in this home, other than it seems that everyone at one time or another appears to sleep with the child who's chaotically passed around as a burden. Yeah. Yeah, I got to tell you, though, and that's the thing, right? So she can get a full night of sleep. She goes and she tells her kid to sleep with her boyfriend. It's insane. She can't remember if she was supposed to get her, but sure, she remembers the minutia and offhand conversation with her disgusting boyfriend. Right. Well, she did have her own space. So she did have her own space, but she just said it was a makeshift space, but she never slept there. And she says in other interviews, I don't remember if it's this interview, but she says that Madeline cannot sleep by herself because she has to be sleeping with human contact. The car line thing is the only thing I believe. I have a teenager and car lines? I talk to the teachers about this all the time. I don't know what it is about car lines that lowers the IQ of the average person. And the fact, like, people turn into wild animals. But yes, you still park and you just go ask. Like, I don't see my kid. Can you just walkie? Can you loudspeaker them? They have all of that there. They would have called her in the morning to let her know. So that's the other thing. Somebody had said this in my comments, and I find it, so I have two kids that go to different schools right now. And every time one of them misses, if I forget to call, they either call me, they email me, or the teacher will text me and be like, hey, just wanted to check in. Like, is your kid not coming to school today? And I'll be like, oh my God, I totally forgot X, Y, and Z. And then they'll be like, all right, no problem. I'll write it down and send it to the office. You don't have to call. Okay, great. But somebody is always in contact. And yes, who is in the child's space is determined by the mother. And it's fine. If Maddie truly cannot go to sleep, right? If she truly cannot go to sleep without human contact, as her mother, that's you. That's you. You sleep in the bed with her. Also, I mean, I know she's 13, but this is what we do with our kids who are 5 and 8. We lay, well, my daughter's getting better at putting herself to sleep, but my son, I lay with him until he goes to sleep, and then I leave and I go lay in my own bed. And then he gets up in the middle of the night and he comes into our bed and we have to redirect him back to his bed. However, they go to sleep in their own beds. And also too, like, listen, I'll co-sleep with my kids all the time. I don't care. I love my kids. They'll sleep in my bed until they're 85. I'll tell you, my sister comes over. She's 23 years old and she'll be like, can I sleep in your bed? Like she's, you know, I get it. Like some people are pack sleepers. I'm a pack person. Like if I sleep at somebody's house, I would much rather just sleep in the bed with you than sleep somewhere by myself. It's much more comforting to me. Not everybody's like that. However, there does come a point where it's like, hey, you go sleep on your own. And if I would rather my daughter be uncomfortable in a bed by herself than put her in a bed with a Don't worry, we'll watch more of these. It gets worse. It'll get way worse. Right. The school normally calls you when they do not show up. Right. The fact his boxers were on top of the laundry basket in Maddie's room and Jen didn't have a clue. Literally, oh, we're not there yet. We're not there yet, narrator. Don't you worry. That's up here somewhere. Oh, maybe right here. Oh, we're getting there.
I drove the path she would have walked. I didn't see her. I got to the office. And she goes, no, it's a little too early. And I said, okay. Let me go drive back down and wait along the path she would walk and just wait. And I parked and I waited.
That's the other thing that bothers me so much about her interviews. I parked and I waited. You have legs. What is the issue with you getting out of your car and looking? Walking the path that she would walk. Get out of the car.
And I'm not sure how long I waited. Maybe somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. She still wasn't there, and I looked
Critical
at the time.
moms.
I'm like, okay, she should be back at my mom's office by now. Maybe she took a different path and I didn't see. So I went, no, she's still not here. And I'm like, that's really strange. So I call. I don't know if I text her. I call. I think I text her, and I asked, hey, or I called. No, I called her. I asked, and she said, no, she didn't make it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean? She was dropped off close to the school. She should have been in school.
So I want to talk about being dropped off close to the school. She says that, Madeline was dropped off close to the school. They talk about how she was dropped off in this church parking lot. She wanted to walk to the school by herself because she didn't want anybody to see the car that she was in, because she's going through this thing at 13 years old where she's really concerned about people seeing her, and, she doesn't want to look a certain way. Right. Their cars are not up to her 13-year-old standards. So they dropped her off at this church in the parking lot, and they're like, it's right down the street from the school. It's a half a mile away. A half a mile. A half a mile. That's not next to the school. That's not close to the school. It's a half a mile. Just so we're all aware.
She goes, no, she didn't make it to first, second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends, see if she made it to any of her other periods. At some point in this, I emailed one of her teachers asking, actually emailed a few of her teachers, and 2 of them responded. One of them said, no, she did not make it to class, and I checked her attendance for the rest of the day. She wasn't in school at all. Like, he sent me a screenshot of, like, her attendance, and it said 0, 0, 0.
You still have that on the phone?
Yes.
Okay.
If you need to know what app, I'll tell you what app. It's a special school app.
Got it.
He said she was missing all day. And at this point, I start to panic and freak out because that can't be the case. She was dropped off. I had
What do you mean,
check her
Aljaka?
attendance at school, but the office had closed already.
Okay.
The lights were off. I could see a student sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off.
Did she just say that there are students sitting in the office in the darkness. I can see students sitting in there, but there's nobody in there and it's just dark. Is that what I just heard?
But the office had closed already. The lights were off. I could see a student sitting in there in the darkness, but I couldn't see any of the administrators or anybody in the office. Lights were off, everything was closed. They wouldn't.
Do students sit in the front office in darkness? I can tell you I've never personally seen this. And also, I can tell you that it doesn't matter if the front school office is closed. If you are late and there's a student in the office, there also is an adult in the office with them. Oh my God.
Allow me in. I think at this point the teacher had responded to me and told me she didn't make it to school at all. I start having like a freak out panic attack.
Are you still just you at this point? Is it you and Stefan?
It's me
A seance.
and my sister. And I want to say one of Catherine. I start panicking and I think at this point I call Stefan and I tell him, hey, because she didn't make it.
Look at his foot. His
she's
foot
absent
goes
today.
wild.
There's no attendance of her at all today. I'm like, right now. And he said, okay, I'll be there. And he came to the office. And
Thank you so much, Carl. Now, mind you, a lot of this goes out because it has to be redacted
three
because
hours, I
she's a
think.
child.
Eventually I contact one of my friends whose husband works, or ex-husband works for OCP, or for you guys.
Orange County Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I messaged him and I talked to him and I asked him what I should be doing because you guys aren't responding quick enough.
Would you know his name? Where he works?
Yes. Nick Mann.
Okay.
Or Mahon. Not
Do you
sure.
know what he does here?
Also, I have to tell you, okay, I've been in a situation where the police had to have been called for a child of mine, okay? If she were to have walked up to the school, okay, she gets in there, Maddie doesn't come out, she's like, wait a second, she parks her car, she goes up to staff, they find out she hasn't been there all day, Jennifer Soto is like, oh my God, I haven't seen her all day, she's missing. School staff would have called the police immediately. They wouldn't even needed to leave it up to Jennifer. They would have called on her behalf. Because if Madeline says, or I'm sorry, if Jennifer says that Madeline was dropped off at the school, then that becomes a school issue, right? That becomes the school's responsibility. They would have called the police. Her freak out panic attacks are off the chain. Look at her now. She barely has a pulse. So then, yes, I know his name, but no, not really. Right. She doesn't know anybody. She doesn't know anybody. So many details about trivial BS, but absolutely nothing. She, you know what? And we got a lot more to go. She says so much and nothing all at the same time.
I think he works for SWAT.
Okay.
Sure.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
He tell you to wait.
I can't remember what he said. You know, it's interesting to me because I've been through a couple of very traumatic scenarios with both of my children. Okay. And we're talking 2 years ago. We're talking 1 year ago. And obviously maybe we're just different people, but I can tell you, maybe not on the specific days, but around those times, like when I was going through the stuff with my daughter and the doctors came in, I can still give you those conversations. I can still give you where I was in my mind. Like those things get burned, they get seared into your brain. I have to tell you, when I had that incident with my son at school and everything happened, and I can tell you that happened 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years this year. Yeah, that happened in 2023, right? I can tell you exactly where I was going, what I was doing. The school called my phone. I can tell you who I spoke to. I can tell you what I felt. I can tell you what I did with my car. I can tell you the thought process that I had, and that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
I think he let us know that there were other kids missing in the area, which is why you guys weren't responding quick enough. I think an 8 and a 9-year-old had gone missing around the same time too, in a playground. They forgot.
All over the place over here.
So all the cops were over there on that side of Hunters Creek. My sister's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever he is, thought it would be a good idea to go to the park
Absolutely.
and talk to a cop there and see if he could bring a cop back, and that's what he did.
Okay.
And then at that point, that's when the cops started asking us questions, taking a report. Interviewing me. They interviewed Stefan.
Okay, this is a good point.
They asked Stefan.
I get it. This is a good point to bring up, that, you know, trauma does affect us differently. I definitely go into my trauma response is like all business. And I will tell you, like, if anything were to happen to my children and you were to video like an interview with me on the first day, it's funny because when, hi Liam, when the thing happened with my son at the school and I came, they're like, you're oddly calm. And I was like, yep. And because I go straight business, my body goes empty. I feel nothing in the immediate reaction. Okay. And then everything was fine. And my son, my audio's going in and out. Is it? I'm so sorry. ¿Qué pasó? I got a different setup. I'm so sorry about, I don't know what's happening. All right. Hopefully it's okay now. But anyway, so they had even said, they're like, we can't believe how calm you are. And I'm just like, I need to know exactly what happened from the time that this started to the time that this finished, to the time that you called me, X, Y, and Z. And I want to know all of that. And I got my son and everything was fine. And that was great. And then I went home and I got up at 2 a.m. and I started puking. Like, I had a visceral response. If you were to interview me right away when something happens, you would be like, she seems oddly calm. Always. Always. Same thing with my daughter. When my daughter went to the hospital, I was like, okay, I need to take my daughter to the emergency room. They transferred us to a children's hospital. I did not understand how severe it was at the time. So I think that also was a level of my calmness, but also, like, for my children, my body goes straight business. And then by Thursday, I was puking. I wasn't eating. Like, it always happens later when I get a chance to, like, to process it. So I'll give everybody their first interview, like that first initial shock. But later, in the fact that this is Friday and she's sitting on this couch and she's explaining now the moment that she was in. And if you guys don't know, Rachel is my best friend in real life in the chat. And she can attest to the fact that there have been times where I've been talking about my son and I've been talking about my daughter, and even years later, still crying at those moments. Like, yes, shock is unique. It is very unique. Let's see. I wandered off when I was 3. We were visiting friends and my mom was looking for a split second. They had someone waiting on PD while other adults got in the car and went looking. Absolutely. Yes. What do I need to do? How do we fix this? Yes. It's all business. I didn't even make it 3 blocks. Right. I have very sharp single shots. Blanket that person event was evil. We'll cover the rest. Wait, what? A vague phrase. Oh, I see. Okay. Yes, hyper focused. Apparently I get scary. That's how I get. Also, I get very mean. Also, if you're in a room with me and like there's like trauma or drama happening, I so when the school had called me, everybody was in a state of panic and I couldn't understand what was going on. And there was like people screaming in the phone and I just screamed. I was like, shut the fuck up. One of you talk, one of you tell me right now. Like, I get so mean. I cannot handle in emergency situations when people start to melt down. I get the fuck out of my way. Like, I can't. And I understand that's how some people do it. Like, I get so mean and I get so serious that I'm like, you out. I need to deal. Get out. That's amazing that your brain does that. Honestly, it does the opposite for me. I even gave the police wrong color of something because basically and that's the thing. I need to understand that not everybody's like me too. I grew up in a place where every time there was like a traumatic event, I had people around me that like heightened the situation. So I learned to go the other way at a very young age, you know? It's so amazing to me. Under high stress, I'm all business. When it's over, however, everything solid in my body turns to liquid. Yes. Yes. I just start vomiting. Strangely, I get what must be done completed, but I do not remember what was wrong or what I did. Yeah, it's very different for everybody, and I do need to understand that. However, this is Friday. Her daughter was lost on Monday. To
take them back to the location where he dropped them off, and he showed them wherever he dropped her off. They were looking for cameras along the path, and I don't think they found any cameras along the way to see if there's any video recordings. I think.
Yes, the grief is there.
Their patrol cars, or did he drive himself and they followed?
Wait, what did she just say? Hold on a second. This is an important. Hold on.
Did Stefan go with them in their patrol?
And I don't think they found any cameras along the way to see if there's any video recordings.
It's interesting that she says this. I don't think there was any surveillance along the way. I don't think there was any video recordings, because if you go back to her initial interview, her very first interview with Fox 35, she states that they have a video of her seen getting out of the car and then walking around in the parking lot for a while. And I don't know if that's what police had told her and just kind of fed to her, because none of that was true. Absolutely none of that is true. And now all of a sudden she's like, oh, there's no video. So who saw her on video? Was it you or was the police? Or was there no video? Because these are two completely different stories.
I think.
Did Stefan go with them in their patrol cars, or did he drive himself and they followed? How did that work?
I think he went with them in the patrol car.
Okay.
The potatoes.
Then they came back. And then that's it. Everything was done. The cops were done. We were done.
What time? You remember what time that was on Monday?
It was after dark. Let's say 8 o'clock.
What did you guys go do after that?
We were in separate cars, me and Stefan.
Okay.
I ugly cried on the way home. I shouldn't have been driving, but I ugly cried on the way home.
I ugly cried on the way home. Why do you have to describe it like it? I was sobbing. I was emotional. I ugly cried on the way home. That's such a weird thing to say. She looks like she'd crawl inside of the couch cushions if she. It's all very. You know what? I guess I expect one thing or another, right? Like I expect. She still doesn't know that her daughter is deceased at this point. So wouldn't you be like, okay, this is what I did. This is where we went. This is what we're doing. Okay, this is like, you think she would want to give as much information as possible to still try to find her daughter, who she still believes to be alive, right? What am I doing here? Go up. Right. Who editorializes? I ugly cried. No, I was emotional. I was sobbing, which is a completely understandable statement. Your daughter, it's after dark and your daughter is missing. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't control myself. I couldn't, whatever.
And I went straight home.
Oh, we're almost at the most replayed, friends.
And then the first thing I did was call Fox 35 News to see if we can, like, air some missing children information out there.
When you say ugly crying, just overly emotional tears, makeup running, or is there like, what is your meaning of ugly crying?
Sobbing where I couldn't see the road and I shouldn't have been driving, like I was swerving.
Makes sense.
Why did that sound so sobbing? That was so angry.
What is your meaning of ugly crying?
Sobbing where I couldn't see the road.
Sobbing.
And I shouldn't have been driving, like I was swerving.
Makes sense. Did Fox 35 come out to your house, or what was their response?
They responded the following day. I think we did a Zoom video interview.
Yeah, we have that one too. Don't you worry, Jen.
Did Stefan follow you home?
I don't know if he followed me, but he drove home, yeah.
I mean, was it within a reasonable time of when you got there? Like,
yes.
okay.
Drove home. We waited there. We didn't know what to do.
You go out and look for your daughter. That's what you do. It's not that hard of a concept. We didn't know what to do. You just go anywhere. You do anything. Tear by tear replay.
I called Fox 35. What else did I do? I think I had to eventually eat.
Exactly.
And take my medication.
I had to eat.
He told me he was going to go out cruising.
I needed to get something to eat. I was so hungry. I guess some of us eat our feelings. I eat my feelings, just not when I should be out looking for my daughter in the middle of the night.
Cruising that night to go look for her. And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight. Cruising that night to go look for her.
Wait. What?
I stayed up late. I think I called Fox 35. What else did I do? I think I had to eventually.
Narrator, I will tell you, this is a good point. However, as somebody who has anxiety, so I'll be sitting on the couch, and when my anxiety strikes, I'll be sitting. I forget to breathe. I have to remind myself to breathe. So like me and my husband will be sitting on the couch, and we'll be watching TV, and I'll be like, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, my anxiety like crushes my chest. So the sighs to me don't mean anything, because a lot of times when I'm amped up, I have a really hard time breathing. That's one way that my anxiety affects me. So I don't look too much into that, but I understand what you're saying. Oh, bye, El Jakad. Right. There's a lot of just filler. A lot of filler. If I'm scared or worried, I'm throwing up whatever I was able to eat. Yeah, eating is not my first. I'm out of here. I'm going to look. I'm on foot.
Actually eat and take my medication. He told me he was going to go out cruising that night to go look for her. And I said, I even questioned that. I asked him, are you sure it's a good idea? You should probably sit tight. Let's just wait to see if she comes home.
So Stefan wanted to go out and look for her. And she's like, maybe we should just stay here.
And he said he was going to take a drive out. I had completely forgotten about him wanting to take the drive, or that he actually did it. And it wasn't confirmed to me until the following day, where agents came to the house and we sat in the car for a good amount of time, and I noticed the chair was adjusted. And I said, did you drive my car? And he said, yeah, remember I said I was going out last night to... That's right, you did say that.
Exactly.
Can you tell you where you looked?
think he said up and down 192, and I said, why there? And he's like,
Anywhere.
I don't know, just look.
Anywhere. If you... I'm an adult. If you cannot find her in the places that she would typically go, then you expand your circle. And if you don't find anything there, then you expand it again and again and again. My grandmother signed to punctuate conversation and accuse someone in the room of failure on any of many ways. The sign was huge. Oh. Exactly. You couldn't keep me from going to look. I'm going. You want somebody to sit by my phone? Take my sister. Take one of my neighbors. You sit by the phone. You sit here. They know what my kid looks like. If my kid appears, cool. Call me. I'll have my phone on me. Critical Moss, I can't with you. On my birthday week. Exactly. You would move heaven and earth for your child. And this is a great point. Or maybe she does not want to find her daughter. I don't know how you would stop me from going. So at this point, hi Lucia, at this point, they believe that she's deceased. Do they know? I don't know. I can't remember. So they've told Jennifer that they believe that she's deceased. It's 3:00 in this room. I don't believe they find her body until 4:00. However, they do have surveillance video of Madeline deceased in the car. So I think that's why they think she's gone. They don't make it clear. Because the cop said I wouldn't know what to look for. Yeah. I whatever. I'd look for anything. I'd look for anything. And that's the other thing too. As a mother, I am going to be the most valuable asset to you. I'm gonna know what they think. If there's a shoe, if there's a piece of clothing, I'm gonna know that that's my kid's. Get me out there. I remember the McCanns going to bed after 2 hours of just looking for her. I thought they went to bed much later than that. How she feels as opposed to how the safety of her missing. Right. Yeah, it's insane.
Looking, I was just trying to look anywhere. And I'm just like, okay.
And I was just like, okay.
Did you say if you found anything or talked to anybody? Or just roamed?
Yeah, roamed.
I would knock door to door. Knock on doors.
When you were getting ready for bed, you were tired, emotional, were you falling asleep when he left, or were you already asleep when he left?
I was already asleep when he left.
Okay, did you sleep downstairs? In your bedroom?
Did you get a good night of sleep?
Woke up, was he already awake, or was he still sleeping?
He was asleep in his bedroom.
Exactly.
Upstairs.
The guest bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you take your medication that night?
I did.
Oh, you remembered that night, didn't you?
What did you guys do Tuesday? Or just you? You guys, if you're not together, you're not together. What's the timeline on Tuesday?
Tuesday, he slept. I woke up early and started making phone calls to like the National Hotline for Missing and Exploited Children. I called the number that the sheriff's office had given me to see if they had any information, and they let me know that she was like the what did she say she was? I don't remember what she said her position was, but she had just gotten into the office and was just starting to work on it, so she didn't have anything new for me. Her name was Bonnie Mitchell. I remember that.
Size and lies.
She asked me to send her some photos. The National Exploited Children's Hotline place asked me for photos as well.
There goes his foot again.
I think at this point, I had asked my friends and family to start contacting news outlets to try to get as much attention on this as possible. I had a lot of phone calls coming in, and I was picking all of them up, hoping that any of them could help me. But it ended up being news reporters or people who had seen my phone on the my phone number on a flyer and was trying to give me suggestions. Somebody letting me know that they took flyers all the way to Orlando International Airport and posted them all over the place in case she was being trafficked. They suggested that I go to Amtrak and Greyhound.
That's a good point.
I had my sister making all these runs for me. I didn't leave the house to do any of this.
Stefan's still asleep.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I know Stefan's her boyfriend. When I tell you that if my child is missing and my husband is sleeping, I will drop kick him in the face. That's how he'll wake up. Get up. Get up. Nobody is sleeping in this house. You know what? That's a great point too. Someone had to ask them for photos. Right.
Eventually, reporters come to the house and do an interview. And at this point, Stefan was awake.
Oh, thank God.
I did an interview with them. And then Stefan was crying in the background. And I said, Stefan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And he sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
Do you know which news outlet that was with?
At least somebody cried. Not that I have any compassion for this man.
I know there's a video on Fox 35
with him sitting
to be on
the fact that you just made a Tanisha reference, Critical Moss. This might be my favorite comment of all time. Hold on. Yeah, let's go back. Hold on.
And I said, Stefan, do you want to do the interview? You can if you want. And he sat in front of the camera and did an interview where he cried.
Do you know which news outlet that was with? I know there's a video on Fox 35
with him sitting
to be on like a webcam.
Yeah, that was Zoom. He was sitting in the background for me.
Okay.
I know
but
that
you
one.
had in-person interviews with reporters?
Yes. I want to say it was Channel 9.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Channel 9.
And he spoke to them?
Yes.
Okay.
And he ugly cried in front of the camera too, so he was fucking...
And he ugly cried. Maybe that's just how she describes crying. This is, I would give a school photo. I would give a school photo. I don't know if she didn't have any personal photos, but I don't find that to be too weird. Oop. Right. Stefan was crying and she said, "You want to do the interview?" I know it's what he's crying. Okay. Let him cry. Also, I have to remember, people are different than you, Bacon. Not everybody. You're not the same. Okay. Also, before we go on, let's read some of these comments. Notice how she genuinely cries about the fact that this is the worst birthday she's ever had. Shows little to or no genuine emotion for her daughter, yet she sobs over her own birthday. Oh, we haven't even gotten to that part yet. All right. I'm giving away.
Fake sob crying.
Right, you can still cry and
Are you
be
saying
guilty.
that now, or do you?
I'm saying that now. I didn't think that at the time. At the time, I thought he was truly heartbroken and not that he had done all this shit to her. Like, I look back at shit now, I'm just like, he was fucking lying. He was fucking faking. What else has he been lying to me about? I know he's like a master liar and manipulator because he's done it to his parents, and he's told me and shown me the lies he's done to his parents. But I don't know why I never thought, not me.
The lies are
Because
about
I'm
money,
special.
about where he's at, what he's doing. Was he
Yeah, all that.
to his parents?
Yeah, he's stolen money from his parents. They used to have a few $1,000s hidden in like a closet for emergency fund kind of thing. And during COVID, he stole, like, he wanted RC cars. See, if he wants something, he's gonna get it.
So here's the other thing too. Did it not bother you that he took money from his parents because it also benefited you?
No matter what. So he wanted RC vehicles, the remote control cars, fancy ones.
That's a
They were
good point, Carl.
$100. And I'm poor. I know I can't afford it, and he's showing up at home with these things. And
Narrator, this is a good catch. Her main concern is that he lied to her, that she's upset. She's upset not about all the heinous things, but you're right. That's the subject of that little blurb that she gets. He was lying to me. He was violating your daughter. That's what he was doing. That's a great catch.
And I asked him, where are you getting the money from? Because we don't have this money. He goes, oh, my dad. And I said, your dad gave you money? He goes, no, I took some from his closet. And I was like they have an emergency stash? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, he's going to notice money's missing. And he's like, no, he won't. It's so much money in there, he won't notice at all. I've confirmed with Chris later on that he did notice money, but he never asked his son. But I let him know, yeah, he was robbing you and just buying himself toys. He's also lied. Most recently, he lied to his parents about where he would be. He told them he would be at his friend's house playing video or board games or something like that, but in reality, he came all the way to Kissimmee to hang out with us.
Okay. But you guys were together Wednesday? After all the interviews, did he stay Wednesday? I know
yes.
We had some detectives go meet you guys Wednesday, I believe.
Monday she's missing, Tuesday, and then, okay, so we're on to Wednesday.
Detectives came?
Yes.
What kind of happened after detectives came?
That's a good point. How about give it back?
Do you feel like everything starts to get blurry?
Oh, I get it. Trust me. We've been in this office for like 3 days straight.
Yeah, so I just don't remember what day I had conversation with you guys.
Tuesday night, Orange County detectives came out there because I ended up coming out Tuesday night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember seeing me or not that night.
Okay.
That was the first night we were at.
Tuesday night. Okay, so Tuesday night, all the police come out and they do forensics inside of the house. They ask Jennifer and Stefan to leave. So Jennifer and Stefan go into their car. They take Stefan's phone. They start like cleaning around the house.
The apartment into the nighttime.
This is a great point too.
You guys shut down the house for forensics?
Yes.
Okay. So
tell us about that.
Okay. So earlier that day, I think Detective Hunt came, or somebody came, and asked Stefan for his cell phone. If he would willingly give it up so that they can look at it, or if they would need a warrant. And I remember him saying, should I have asked a warrant? Should I have... And I'm like, no, if you've got nothing to hide, give him your fucking phone. And, I think we hung out in the house for a little bit, and then when you guys came in the evening, and you guys told us to wait outside, and we waited in my car, he started getting very anxious and very panicky, going, I want my phone back. I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like,
Which also, and this, oh, I'm so glad I paused it at this point because I want to back up because I want you guys to hear it. But if I'm sitting in the car and the police are like, hey, let me just take your phone, let me look at it. And whoever I'm sitting next to is like, I need my phone, I need my blah, 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 blah. Immediately, I'd be like, why? Why? But I want you guys to hear this. So let me back this up real quick, because I want you to hear this in full context before we discuss this next part.
I want my phone back. And I said, listen, at this point, it's their phone. It's theirs for fucking ever. I don't give a shit. We will buy you a new phone. It doesn't matter anymore. Whatever they need, they need. Like, let them look at it. And he's like, I just want my phone back. And I'm just like, are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like,
Are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Why would that be the thought? Why would that be the thought? More suspicious? We're just going to go. Why do you want to make yourself look more suspicious?
Are you trying to make yourself more suspicious? Because, like, if you were to go demand your phone back right now, that would look suspicious as fuck. Like, what are you doing?
I agree.
I'm thinking he's just getting impatient because he's bored and wants to play on his phone. And at one point, he takes my phone to start playing with it. I give it up, and I said, here, play on my phone. Have fun. Because I think from my phone, he was trying to log into his emails, but he couldn't. Because you needed, like, 2-factor authentication from your own phone. And I'm just like, what are you trying to look at? And he's like, oh, my shipments, my packages. He's addicted to buying shit. That's another thing. Me and his dad couldn't figure out where Stefan was getting money from to buy stuff since he's been unemployed the last 2 months, but he's constantly buying himself packages, buying himself things off of Amazon, buying himself things off the line.
Is this stuff you can confirm, or you think he's doing this?
What?
Buying packages.
I can confirm because I am linked to his Amazon account,
okay.
And his parents can confirm whatever UPS packages or whatever he's getting at home. But I'm linked to his Amazon account. If you guys have my phone, you'll see whatever shipment. I think most recently I did, like, birthday party. If you see birthday party stuff, that was me. But everything else, him. He's constantly buying stuff, and he doesn't have money. He keeps saying he's got money in his savings, but me and his dad call bullshit because he hasn't had. When he lived with us, he was struggling. His dad was helping him pay his bills, paying his rent, paying his gas, paying his insurance. Stefan was helping us, supporting us by buying food and all that stuff.
Now, I will tell you guys, his parents were helping him because I actually watched an interview with his parents, and we could watch it at some other point, but it's incredible. His parents are very aware. They're very realistic. But they also talk about how when Stefan was a little kid, he had gotten run over by a truck, which, like, hit him in the head, and then when the kids were screaming, the truck had backed over again, and they told him, like, he's never going to have quality of life, like he's never going to walk. And so he does have some damage from that, which I think is also why he can't work.
But I don't know what he did with the rest of his money, and I don't know where he's getting money from now.
The birthday month.
You were telling us that he was trying to log into his emails.
So he's trying to log into his emails on his phone, and I said, 2-factor authentication, you can't do anything.
It absolutely can, Liam. It absolutely can.
What else? We waited in the car. I think at this point, when I noticed that forensics was locking down the house and you guys said we couldn't come back, I told him to call his dad. Because I had a feeling y'all knew something, and it was going to come down on him. And I'm just like, they're focusing on the wrong person. They have the wrong person. In my head, I'm convinced you guys are that you had the wrong person. I wanted to think that he was good.
Before we get ahead of that, what is the conversation like between you two when you're in the car?
Okay, this is a great point. What is the conversation between you two in the car? He has now shown you anxiety. Okay. He has now shown you that he doesn't want them to have the phone. You are now being like, you need to call your dad because something's up because they're looking at you. Also, yes, exactly, Rachel. What would make you think that? Why would you think that? And why would you be like, oh, I don't know, call your dad? But this is a great point. What are you two talking about? Forensics is in your house. They have shut down your house. You're no longer allowed to go in it. What are you guys talking about?
Because y'all were in there for a good while we were trying to figure things out at your apartment complex or your condo. What's the conversation like inside that car?
I'm trying to think back to what exactly we were talking about.
Just having a little kiki, I guess.
I remember late in the eve, like when you guys let us know we couldn't come back, and I called his dad.
The brain injury excuse makes me so mad. I have a son with severe epilepsy who also has TBI. And narrator, I hope that everything goes so well for your son. I hope, and I'm not excusing the behavior for Madeline. I am excusing behavior because a lot of people who have, for example, I have an 8-year-old autistic son, and he, he's nonverbal. I don't know if he'll ever work. That was my thing. Like some people who have, cognitive issues, right? When it comes to being able to work, it's different. There are things that Stefan did after Madeline